So I was listening to some videos on X talking about people becoming too soft, becoming too, um, I call it pussified, but I don't actually have all the words I want. So this is what I had in my mind though, is we are built to be a very resilient, very intelligent species, very adaptable. We're tolerant of many types of climates, types of stress levels, capabilities, all the way from invisible to physical, hands-on. To be a compassionate and truly loving in your heart, it doesn't mean that you go and you grovel. It doesn't mean that you go and, oh, we'll be okay. We need to bring them all in, or we need to do this. The reality is imagine if you're the only one taking care of everybody on your city block. As much as you want to, and so you may be able to, money-wise, but most people, it would end up draining their system, their physical body, their mental strength. It would make their heart tired, and it will fracture them financially, spiritually, and physically. If you took it upon yourself to take care of just one city street because, well, they all deserve your love. I've learned a hard way, but I don't regret it. Not everybody deserves our love. Everybody deserves a chance to know what love is, know what it looks like. They deserve a chance to love themselves first. Because if we don't love ourselves properly, why would anybody else love us properly? If we don't respect ourselves properly, why would anybody else? And this is when we get mad when people don't give us the right love, or they don't give us the right respect or courtesy or honor or compassion or whatever. But if we don't give ourselves those things, those respects, those courtesies, those loves, those embraces, those disciplines, those hard choices to make, why would anybody give us the courtesy and respect of standing there and being strong with us if we're not strong for ourselves? If we want them to be strong enough to if they love themselves properly, there might not be anything wrong with being here for a moment of time and learning some ways and aspiring to go teach those to the people on your street. Instead of taking care of every single one of them, maybe everybody on the street should pull together and take care of everybody on the street. Like a big old crock pot, cauldron, everybody chips in and cooks, washes, and helps do the dishes, feed the people, contribute to the pot. But we don't let that happen because everyone, well, you can't turn them away. You can't do that. Well, you're the ones that get eaten by the fucking zombies first then. Because if you don't stand up for your children or your grandchildren or your great grandchildren's space, that they need to be able to be safe at a minimum, a square footage just for them to stand safely without contamination. If you don't respect them enough to have enough food, shelter, or resource of any kind, then who are you to decide we can't turn them away? You can be very compassionate, very understanding, very charitable. But the one way you end up ruining yourself at the expense of ruining everybody else first, and then realizing it didn't work, but then it's too late. Our history shows us, our family environments, our family dynamics when we're too giving shows us. The schools that use a powder puff paddle shows us. It doesn't mean that we got to be dictators and beat the fuck out of our kids or our neighbors. And I'm sorry for cussing when I'm supposed to be more proper. I'm getting better. As long as they're not getting out of hand, but that's where it comes into where we need to be firm, not lenient, and make sure we're keeping the people that are doing the ruling or the discerning or the lawmaking or the barricading. We as a people, it's our freaking job, because the governing agencies are our employees. It's our job to make sure they're doing it in a fair, proper, fortified manner. If we believe they're turning away somebody that shouldn't, well, instead of bowing up on a platform and writing a letter like, oh God, I can't believe they turned him away, maybe stand up for him when you saw it. But most of you probably read somebody's Instagram thing or this or that. Not that some of them aren't well informed, but you jumped on bandwagons, most of you. Most of you want the powder floating out of your butt with glitter in it so you can look like you're the savior. Most of us don't know what it would take to be a good savior. A savior is wise because he's been burnt, broken, battered, tattered, and shattered, all to his heart, and figured out how to stand back up and not give up. Or maybe did and found his way back. But the other thing he learned about still likes his heart, loves it, and still going to be a loving being. He reinstated in himself so he wouldn't forget. Lift up his jacket. He didn't put his sword in the trash. He didn't make himself completely vulnerable. He's vulnerable, but not unprotected. Vulnerable means we are open-minded. There's our vulnerability. There's our open heart. Open-minded means we stand there with a strong discernment. Family first. If we got something that's able to be used and it feels right to the family, then as a family, we make it work. No matter what, because we chose it as a family. Switch family for nation. If we feel like it's not right, it's not a sin and it's not wrong. We don't have to blast them dead right there in a puddle on the ground. But we don't have to take care of everybody that knocks on the door and says, hey, you want to buy a cookie? Because guess what? If you did, well, how are you going to buy breakfast tomorrow? It's a fine line, but it takes a strong community to keep that line solid and wide enough to walk, but stable enough to protect the primary cause. The primary cause is the innocence of the family that built the wall or the line or the barricade or the kitchen that everybody's sitting in. We have to do that. There's nothing wrong with having a door or two, but we have to be on the same page. And it doesn't mean we put away our swords. It just means we don't have to be arrogantly and ignorantly flaunting them. Keep an even keel, keep a decent smile, but not so stupid we're not paying attention. Because not everybody needs to see the swords. They just need to see consistency. They need to see an example that's solid. And they need to see the discernment and the ability to grab the hilt of that sword like you know what to do with it, and you will. Not pretend, not threaten, and hope they don't make a move. If you grab it, you better goddamn know you'll swing it. That doesn't mean you stopped loving the person on the other side of that line. You're loving them so much you weren't walking around arrogantly waving and threatening them. You respect all life. But when life doesn't respect you and you give it a chance to go the other way, you better be willing to grab both hilts, because you need to have two. Because you got two hands. You better be ready to roll. If you want to say you care about a nation, you need to act the same way you would if it was your two little kids or your one, or your wife or your sister or your mom, and a dude's getting ready to fucking rape her, already got her pants down around her knees. What would you do? Would you, hey man, you want to come over for dinner? Maybe we can work this out. Is that what you would do? Because it's the same thing. Because every time you don't care about us or yourself, you're not caring about that innocent flesh, pants around their ankles, predator ready to go. Guarantee you, every one of you that I put a pistol in your hand, you would pull that trigger if you didn't piss your pants first and run. Because you weren't even going to wait to see if he stuck his dick in her. Or that little kid. But when it comes to everything else, when you're sitting at home in your car, looking at your phone or behind your TV, or wherever you are, everybody all of a sudden is a bleeding heart, fucking save everybody. I cannot believe they stopped them. Well, maybe somebody should have stopped you. The thing is, think about it like that, as if you were looking at your most loved family member or your mate getting ready to be desecrated, bent over and desecrated in front of the nation, live on camera. There isn't a goddamn thing you wouldn't do, beg the devil or God to give you to stop that. So tone that down slightly, lose the emotional rampage, but keep that same mindset. Because if you're willing to protect that, you need to use that to grab the sword that's not waving around arrogantly. You can love everybody the way you want to, but every now and then you're going to see them bent over like that in front of the camera. And that's when you know you don't love them the same at that moment. You lay them down as gently as they will allow you to. And that's all you can do. Give them every chance to feel and witness what a strong hearted soul is capable of. But do not sacrifice your family just so you can prove a point.